Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Johngy podcast, without which life would be incomplete and have little or no meaning. I, of course, am your host, who else but Tommy D. Else. And here, having driven all the way from Skokie, Illinois, to be here in person for a change, is the man on the beat from johngysbeat.com, Mr. John Robleski.
What's the D stand for?
Danger.
Oh, yeah, dopey.
So, we're doing a field trip. It's been a long time since we've gone on the Taco Salad World Tour. I looked around the area and I found a place called Hale St Cantina in Wheaton. I chose this place because I have found in our travels thus far, the more authentic the Mexican restaurant is, the less I like their taco salad, because they're trying to make like something like authentically Mexican, as they should.
So is this an authentic Mexican restaurant?
Well, it looks like it is, but it looks Americanized enough.
Okay.
That I have faith that they might do this right.
So it looks like an American Mexican restaurant trying to be an authentic Mexican restaurant.
It's floating somewhere in the middle there, I think. And
all
so
right.
we're going to, I mean, I could be wrong, but of all the ones I looked at in the area, this was the closest to like an American Mexican type of bar grill type of place.
So you're purposely going not for an authentic.
Right, because
right.
I feel like the places we've been to that have had that are like the authentic Mexican places, they're trying to make it like you. But see, it's an Americanized thing. Like we came up with this. I don't know if we came up with it, but we certainly have
popularized,
turned it into something completely different than the Mexican culture would make.
But I would like to say though, if there is a authentic Mexican restaurant out there, you want us to test your taco salad. We're not even looking for freebies. Throw the invite out.
Yeah, we'll come, but I'm looking for a nice crispy shell, all right? I want well-seasoned taco beef.
Drained properly.
Drained. Lettuce, tomato.
Sour cream.
Sour cream, that's fine. And that's, I'm not asking for much else, but...
Cheese.
Cheese would be, cheese is definitely necessary.
I think those are the main ingredients.
But, I mean, I'm not asking for anything... I don't think it's just a matter of we get one and it's like, well, the shell sucks and there's no flavor in the meat, so it's like we can't quite get anyone who can just hit all the marks. So the quest continues, and now we are on our way to the Hale St Cantina for a taco salad. Well, we will return to our trip to get our Hale St Cantina taco salad in a little bit, but first
we got some business to take care of.
Yeah, we got a show to do, but we will get back to our taco salad trip and tell you how that went. John, how are you?
I don't know. I got like a sinus infection or something. It's been bugging me for days, and I have an insurance snafu, so I can't even go to the doctor right now. And I had a big leak in my bathroom, and yeah, it was a good week. How about you?
So you're just full of all sorts of positivity today.
Well, I'm here, man. I'm still here.
He's got his bitch list with him. Come to the table with. Got your big hoss hippie shirt on there. Our good friend Reagan Lydale.
Champ.
She's the champ in what is that?
Honor Among Wrestling.
Is it War Wrestling? But she I just saw online about 30 minutes ago. She's headed down to Texas to defend her championship, and she recently fought for the freelance heavyweight championship against Storm Grayson, not the women's championship, but the championship. So she's really been just kicking some ass, man. I mean, it's hard to believe. I mean, we were fortunate enough to have interviewed her before she even had her first training lesson. And now look at where she is. She's been in, I think, 6 states now. So
probably, yeah. The thing is, people can say we're biased, and we probably are. You more so because you've known her longer. But we're big fans. Obviously, there's no way around that. But I've heard so many great reports from promoters to other wrestlers to
Hmm.
fans from her various appearances. Really high on her title shot at Freelance. People were really big on her performance that night.
Well, and that's the thing is, I mean, the when it's nice when all the promoters like you know, and they all have good things to. I mean, I haven't heard it, not that I have like my ear that close to the ground, but I mean, I have never heard anyone have anything bad to say. I mean, other competitors and performers definitely respect her, and uh, they're definitely into her. The promoters, it's not like she's going around looking for gigs. I mean,
No.
she's getting booked. So
Well, I don't want to name names just because then it puts, then it's like, well, how come they haven't booked her yet? Whatever, because there are going to be 1,000 reasons why no one's booked at this point. But I've heard from four different promoters, four different promoters in those promotions, and they all are very high on her.
yeah, yeah. Well, we wish her well. Um, so today, at least today is Halloween.
Oh, is that the jersey? Is that going to tie in?
So this is my costume today. I am Terrell Davis of the Denver Broncos, number 30.
Why?
Uh, well, I just thought, I mean, all I really need to do to look like Terrell Davis is just throw on his jersey, and then it's like
Well, this could
twin.
get into trouble because I certainly don't want you to wear blackface.
It's
That
like
will get us
twins.
booted. But okay,
How do you
yeah.
know? How do you know Terrell isn't a white guy wearing blackface?
Well, all right, let's just move on. This is going to get into territory. I have so many questions though. Oh, why are you wearing a? Why do you even have a Denver Broncos jersey? Why do you have a Terrell Davis jersey? Why are you dressed? Do they have trick or treat in your building? Because my building doesn't.
No, they don't, and it
Are
is
you just going to go
unfortunate.
randomly like through
Uh,
neighborhood? That would be interesting. Like instead of people, you could go up to kids.
oh, I'm sure that'd go over real well. Yeah.
Yeah, that might not be good either.
And I tell them that
All
I'm
right.
Terrell Davis of the Denver Broncos. Yeah. I have the jersey because back in like 98, 99, I worked at a sports apparel store called Superstars, and they sold authentic jerseys, football, hockey, basketball, fitted baseball caps. They had the football helmets, all of it, and it was all like top shelf, real deal stuff and everything. And then at some point, I was the manager of that particular location, and at some point, the corporation ended up going under, and they had a big sell off of everything. And I had my eye on a few things, and one of which was this Terrell Davis jersey. Now, I don't know anything about the Broncos. I don't know anything about Terrell Davis. I just know that it was a really cool looking jersey, and I thought it looked good on me. And so that was what I got. I got that, and I got a Nashville Predators hockey jersey because that's awesome looking.
You make your predictions on sports events by team colors or their logos or
I'm telling you, one of the reasons I'm a Cubs fan is because they got the best looking uniforms of any team, man. Red, white, and blue. Can't beat it. No one has better looking uniforms than the Cubs do, man. They don't.
I
So,
don't even
uh,
know there.
so yeah, no, I got Nashville Predator. And now I got some other ones, but I gave a lot of those away too. I got them just because I could get them cheap, and I got a friend who was like a Kings fan, so I gave him the Kings jersey, and
Do
my
you know
but
who the Nashville Predators jersey is, or is it a blank?
that the Nashville one is blank. That one I didn't was not for anyone specific. So, um, but uh,
I'm not
but
a
it's a
jersey guy
it's a
per
nice
se. I mean,
thing.
I've got maybe 7 or 8, but mostly from people that gave them to me. You don't often see me wear a jersey.
No, and see that's the thing is I don't often have a reason to ever wear like when am I ever have a reason to wear a Predators hockey jersey? I mean, a hockey jersey is a pretty cumbersome thing, you know. I mean, like
Yeah,
if you know, and my only real like legitimate reason would be if the Blackhawks were playing the Predators, and then I went to the United Center with my Predators
that wouldn't
jersey,
be good though.
which wouldn't be good. So I, but I don't know. It's there. it's still looks awesome, man. I mean,
Grown
it's
men should never wear jerseys unless they're at a sporting event or they're meeting the celebrity or like a sports convention or
yeah,
Halloween. I'll give you that one. But there's
yeah.
no other reason. Like, I'm not going to go out for a night in the town wearing a Blackhawks jersey.
Yeah. No,
And
it's
men should never, ever wear a basketball jersey unless there's like a t-shirt underneath. I don't care. I don't care if it's the summer or not. It's a
yeah,
bad.
it's a bad look. No, I agree. I agree.
Now, women, on the other hand, look very good in hockey jerseys. They look good in
I'll tell you something, and this goes back to the Cubs. I don't care. You can just a Cubs jersey. This is the way I'll word this politically as correctly as I can. A Cubs jersey can make almost anybody like five times more attractive, I think. I mean, I definitely dig a chick in a Cubs jersey. It's I don't know what
But
it
here's
is.
the thing, though.
Baseball
Oh,
cap doesn't hurt either. You know, if they got like a blue backwards baseball cap and a Cubs jersey, I mean, you're winning points right
it's
off
got
the
to be a
bat.
button down, though. I know the Cubs are button
Oh
down,
no, I agree,
but
agree.
but the Cubs like used to have it. Well, a lot of teams in the '80s had like the pullover V-neck.
No, it
That
doesn't
doesn't
count.
work.
No, no, no. It's got to be a real legitimate, jersey. But they look great.
Well, they are legitimate jerseys. The without buttons. Some teams don't have buttons; they have pullovers.
Yeah,
No,
but I still don't. Yeah, I still don't like. Well, I don't think the team should even be wearing pullovers. But that's
that's what I'm saying.
yeah, that's another.
Well, right. I'm saying women. Yeah, I agree.
All right. But with today being Halloween, I thought we would talk a little Halloween talk. So I was curious to know. I've got some questions and some stories and stuff here.
Oh, I love the questions. Go ahead.
So when you were a kid, did you go trick or treating?
I did.
Yeah. And do you have a memory of a favorite costume that you ever wore?
No, not from a kid because now costumes are different. Back when I was a kid, it was you buy that cheap, stupid mask with a little
Well,
rubber
yeah,
band.
but I mean, but even then, I mean, was there a year where you like really wanted to be
No,
someone in particular or dress as something
no,
specific?
no. I'll tell you the one that I was really
Well,
disappointed.
you're boring. Yours is a lot of great
Well,
conversation here we're
no,
having.
well, I got a good one as an adult, but I had one as a kid where I had the Kiss makeup. I was like 19. It was like 10 or 11, and I was
Yeah.
gonna go. Which I think I was going as Ace because I liked Ace the best. And I had all the
So you had
makeup,
this like the
everything.
star.
No,
You had
that's
the
Paul.
oh, okay. Which one's what
Ace,
are you?
Ace had like the silver and it's outlined in black, both
Gotcha.
sides.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and I even had like the tinfoil arms because he had the like the
Yeah.
long.
The silver. Yeah.
And I got like the flu or something and I had to miss it. I was so disappointed.
Oh, that
Yeah,
sucks. That
yeah.
sucks.
But my
What?
favorite as an adult, I know you didn't ask as an
No,
adult.
no, no. Let's hear it. Yeah.
We had a costume party at or costume contest party when I worked at the newspaper. It was the day after I ran a marathon in Chicago. So I got in the office early and I created like a course which ended in my office with I had an office with the finish line there. I had like a table of water and Gatorade and stuff, like the water tables at the stuff. I wore my medal, I wore the whole outfit. I even like drenched myself so I looked all sweaty. And that was my contest. I was a marathon runner. And I won
Really?
first place.
Well, I guess for that much effort, maybe people are glad that you finally put some water on yourself, hosed off for a change. Maybe they're
Well, my
just
thing was,
celebrating.
my effort really was I did the 26 miles. I put more effort into that costume than anybody.
Yeah. Well, okay.
So how about you? Did you go as another football player?
No. When I was a kid, yeah, we had the same thing. Like my parents, we'd go to like Kmart and you go down the aisle, or we go to Woolworths.
I'm sure.
Yeah, Woolworths Venture, any of those places over the years. And yeah, it was the vinyl suit with the plastic mask that had the rubber band, to keep it on and everything, where you just sweat underneath it. It's got two nose holes and a little slit for your
Which
mouth.
didn't even work.
No, and then and God forbid you snap that rubber band, then you're screwed unless you can come up with some makeshift way to rig the thing or something. And
Well,
then,
try wearing glasses with that too. That works
uh,
out nicely.
so, I mean, costumes back then were like it was all the same costume. It was just a matter of what was printed
Yeah,
on it or whatever. But I mean, for me, it was still all about like who's your guy, who you're gonna be and everything. And it may not be a huge surprise to know that He-Man was my favorite.
of
And
course.
I've got a picture of me as He-Man, and then I went a Skeletor one year.
Well,
Those were kind of
you gotta send me that picture. I can post it in this video.
yeah, yeah. I'll find him. So then uh, years later when I was in high school, I loved Halloween and I loved going to the dances. So the Halloween dance was my favorite dance of the year to go to because you got to dress up and everything. So one year I talked my father into, I don't know where the hell we saw this thing, but they had like a full size, like Great America sized Yosemite Sam mask. I mean, and it was this big. It was huge. And it was like $180 or something like
Oh,
that for just this giant mask, but it was incredible. I don't know how the hell I talked my father into it. Basically, he said it would be the last Halloween costume he ever bought me for the rest of my life, and it was.
fine.
And it was.
Yeah, but
but
when you
I
get something that cool,
but I was also like, I don't know, 15 or 16 or
yeah.
so 50, it was the last time. Yeah, yeah, of course it's the last one. So but he got it for me. And so I got that. And then I just went out and I got like some overalls and did the rest of it just with regular clothes and everything. And so you know how like during like on Halloween on the day of school, you can wear your costume at school
Yeah.
and everything. So I'm walking through the halls with this giant ass, and it's like it looks awesome and everybody loves it. But logistically, this thing's a nightmare. I
Oh,
mean, like
yeah.
I'm just walking around and like trying to keep the thing steady and stuff. Everyone
Well,
wants
it's
to
like the knuckleheads that wear those huge costumes to Comic Con. So you're trying to get through
right.
they're jam packed and they're just nailing everyone.
Right. Yeah, it's so I learned that
Logistically a headache.
that's when I learned this lesson was doing this stuff in high school and everything. But and then one year I actually made it in the yearbook, and I think they voted on like the best costumes or something like that. But I don't think it was a really large pool of like anything that was that exciting. Because if you see there's like 7 people in the picture or something like that. I don't know if they took them from different grades or whatever the dispersion was between them, um but yeah, I've got a picture of me, and all it is I had like a skull mask, and I had an inflatable skeleton. I don't know why, and don't make any jokes. And I just had it so it like tied
Joke yourself.
its arms around my neck, and like I was in like white and black military fatigues, and I don't know, it made it look like I was rescuing the skeleton somehow. I don't know why or how I came up with that. I bet you I threw it together that morning, but I've got
Well,
that
you know I've questioned your whole high school career, and this kind of adds to it. We didn't have such tomfoolery in my high school.
But no, I loved, yeah, and that was, and so with the dances and everything though. So then I went to the dance with that Yosemite Sam thing, and I'm just like
Well, I bet you got a girl that night.
sweating my ass off in that thing inside this, and everybody loved it, and by then people knew to bring cameras and stuff because you didn't have cameras on you 24/7 back then. So for the dance though, I mean, oh, I'm taking pictures with everybody, and everybody loved it, but. I held on to it for a long time, but it started disintegrating, and it was just taking up so much space too that it was just, I had to finally get rid of it.
Well,
So
I've always said you had a big head.
yeah, yeah. And then when you were a kid and going trick or treating, favorite candy? What were your favorite candies as a kid?
Reese's.
Yeah, same here. That was the
Peanut
best.
butter
If you,
cups.
yeah, that was
Followed closely, not close, followed by peanut M&Ms.
okay.
And I
My
was a
neck.
weird kid too. I liked the was it Nestle's or Hershey's? The little like they had like the sample bags that had like Crackle and Good Bar.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
like
yeah.
I like the dark chocolate ones.
Oh, really? See, those were the only ones I didn't like. Was the
Well, see,
dark
we would have
chocolate?
been good.
Yeah,
we
you could have had. I'd have given you all my dark chocolates. Yeah.
yeah.
Now it was always because yeah, I was fine with the rest of them. They were all fine. Like if you got like there was like Kit Kat ones or whatever. And they yeah the crackle and it's just and those were all good. But if I got a dark chocolate one, it was like you felt jolted. It was like you got candy, but I don't really like dark
Yeah, I've
chocolate.
never been a
So
fan of milk chocolate, really.
yeah, I'd have been happy to trade with you. But no, Reese's were that was the gold standard. That was the top of the line. I mean, like, and then, just regular peanut butter cups, great. Anything that you got bigger than that, like if you got a real, like, full size one, because they'd have singles, that was a
Yeah.
big deal. If you had some real badass dude giving out the full 2-pack,
Oh yeah.
that was, and then anything beyond that was just like winning the lotto. So, but yeah, Reese's, and to this day too. I mean, like even if if I was going to the chair and they said you get one more candy, I'd say make it
I'm
a
asking for
Reese's.
a dark chocolate Reese's.
I would want a Reese's, and then like I've gone to like the ice cream places and they've got the Reese's that they put in there and stuff like that. And I can't.
I'm
It's
not
too
a fan
good.
of shoving that stuff in my ice cream. I like my ice cream well, like I like anything. I like stuff unadorned. It doesn't need a lot of stuff. I like, like
Well,
all
if
the
it's
pumpkin stuff now. I don't want to go on the whole pumpkin rant. I like pumpkin. I don't like pumpkin spice.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, you certainly are a man who is unadorned. Um,
Maybe we need to discuss this with Dan Levy again.
uh, what about
Argument.
what about carving pumpkins?
I hated carving pumpkins. So much
Yeah,
work. Never wanted to
it
do it. My
it,
sisters
it
did. I
no, it was a lot of work, and it is I had I've been carving pumpkins up until just a few years ago. I It's only recently that I let the last few years slip by. And it was just because all the other years there were people coming over here, and I actually had a Halloween party like every year for a very, very long time, up until COVID, I think is
oh
probably
yeah.
when things finally dropped off. But up until 2020, I had a Halloween party every year, dress up, have people buy, decorate the place and everything. I love Halloween. Um, I need to get back into it again, but part of that was carving pumpkins, and as an adult, kind of having my own, say over what I'm doing, and because like when I was a kid, I didn't have creative freedom over the pumpkin that I was carving because we were carving a pumpkin for the family. It wasn't my
Right.
pumpkin. It was for
But you didn't go out. You didn't even go out and pick your pumpkin.
no. I think we
People.
always got
But
it
now
at
you can pick.
yeah, yeah. So
I like the white
not
one.
I don't like the white ones. They look like garbage. Those are garbage pumpkins.
Did you ever try see, I haven't carved them, but are they different carving a white pumpkin?
I have never carved a white pumpkin. I can't tell you. I've
Do
not
you know
heard
what a blue pumpkin on a porch means?
help. No,
No.
I don't know what.
It means the house is serving allergy-free treats. And there's an allergy person in the house, probably.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
and if you have
it's a
allergies
good
and you're a
no,
kid,
it's a good PSA. People, I didn't know that. Now people do. There you go. Blue pumpkin. There it is. No, I when I got to start carving my own pumpkins, I liked it more. I like doing the cyclops, one eye, and then get real jagged with the teeth and everything. But it's disappointing. Like if you start getting in, and it's just a pumpkin is not the easiest thing. It's a bad choice for a vegetable or anything to carve for an event because, I mean, first of all, even if you're using like the pumpkin carving tools, it's like those knives suck, man.
no, yeah.
I mean, but it's like, but at the same time, the other knives you'll break them, try because that's how stiff this thing is. It's not something that I don't think God didn't create these to be what we're
Well,
using them for.
you know what people originally carved? I'm full of useless information today.
What
Turnips.
eggplants? Oh,
Turnips.
turnips. So
No, I don't know how that would work.
uh, I don't know. It's smaller. It seems like it would almost be harder.
And
Um,
solid, isn't it? Aren't they solid through?
I would, yeah, I believe so. Yes,
Well, maybe you just
solid.
carve.
I don't think they make hollow turnips. Yeah. Now, I will say I do like pumpkin seeds.
I was
So
going to say that you bake them, right?
right. So part of
Drizzle olive oil.
part of it is getting to bake the seeds. Now, the problem is that the yield of seeds you get from one pumpkin is not that much. So you get them, you wash them off, you put some salt on them or whatever, you throw them in the oven, and they're great. But they're good. You get a few handfuls of them, and then you got to wait till next Halloween before you have them again.
Yeah.
So unless you're making a lot of pumpkins, but yeah. So all right, all right. Any particular favorite Halloween memories? Any ever, outside of your big win as your marathon runner? Any good
Well,
parties? Anything?
this one does involve a marathon, but it's totally different. I ran the New York Marathon, I think 1998, I think it was. And I get off like a plane, I get off out of my cab or whatever it is, right in the middle of Times Square, because that's where my hotel was. And I see like everybody just like dressed as all this. And Times Square is always weird anyway. But all of a sudden I see like witches and I'm like, oh crap, man, it's Halloween.
Yeah,
So I landed like the middle of Halloween in the middle of Times Square. So I threw my stuff in my room, came back down, and had a great time, and just partied on Times Square because it was like I went a day, like an extra day early. So it was Thursday, the marathon was Sunday. So I had plenty of time. And I had like a great time just drinking all these like weird pineapple beers, or not pumpkin beers,
yeah.
and partying with like, everyone was having a good time.
I uh, I was there trying to think of some of my happier uh, or more memorable Halloween moments, and I mean, so when I was a kid, we grew up in from like fifth grade until high school. I lived in an apartment complex that had, well, there were condos actually, and in this complex, there's like five buildings, roughly 60 units a building. Okay. We were not in a neighborhood. So when it came time for trick or treating, it was like there was no houses and streets to go down and everything, but they did do trick or treating in the building. So what we quickly figured out as kids was there were a lot of advantages to doing this. Now, I did personally miss being in the neighborhoods because the houses are decorated. You
Right.
see more kids with costumes and stuff. You're outside. I mean, it's like it feels like Halloween. It doesn't feel like Halloween walking through the hallway of an apartment building, you know what I mean? But that being said, there were a lot of advantages to this. One of which is that travel time between places. Okay.
It's
There's,
seconds.
yes, instead of having to go up the driveway, back to the sidewalk, walk to the next house, wait behind the kids, go up, go house to house, you're talking like about 8 to 10 feet apart are the doors. Bang, bang, bang. So, like by 3 o'clock, we start, top of the floor, start working our way down, going through the building. So from an efficiency standpoint, we're hitting like 60 units in probably about a half hour or so. But then we realized, well, that's just one building. We got four other buildings we can get to. So you're talking like 300 units. Now, not everybody's giving away, but let's say that
Yeah.
you got 250 of them are out of the 300. No kid in school is hitting 250 houses in one afternoon,
Right.
but we were. So we just had, I mean, it was like four or five of us, and we were just like killing it with pillowcases full. Just we'd have to go back in between
Yeah.
buildings and dump off and then go back out and do it again. One of the other advantages of this was that if the weather sucked, it didn't matter. Didn't have to
Right.
put on a coat. The rain didn't affect anything like that. None of that stuff. And you could wear your costume. Didn't have to have the coat over the costume, which is always the worst, you know. And so that was cool. Um, and so other kids at a certain point started like catching on to what we were doing, and now they were asking us like, hey, can we come with, trick or treating this year and stuff. And so like one year, I let a couple of kids come with, and then the next thing it's like starting to get to be like too big of a thing because, like the people know like who lives there and who don't, So, but But that's how good of a thing we had going there. So missed out on some of the more Halloweeny part of it. But I mean, if you're talking just from a straight candy standpoint and the convenience of not having to be outside in potentially bad weather, it was a really good way to go.
Now, what if you charged kids like 10% to join you?
If we were smart, we would have. Yes.
You can make a whole business out of it.
Oh yeah. No. Yeah. I'd figure some way out to cash in on that. But you know, back then I was still too nice, I guess. Uh, then a few other ones are actually very closely related to the time I was in Resistance Pro because we went, as you know,
Right.
to
Yeah.
Minnesota for a show in October. And they do a thing. I don't know if they do it still or if it, but for a while there, they were doing what they called the zombie pub crawl. And it went from, I think, noon, or no, it went from technically, I think it went from like 1 or 2 in the afternoon until midnight or whatever. And along that way, there were bands on this pub crawl and stuff. And this is downtown Minnesota. I mean, like they shut down
Downtown Minneapolis.
Minneapolis. I'm sorry. Thank you. They shut down streets and everything for this, and everybody, and I mean everybody, dresses up like zombies, and they do this pub crawl. So we were at the end of the pub crawl. So at like 10 o'clock that night, there was a wrestling show going on at this bar at the end of this whole thing, and you know that was us. So this place is just packed to the walls with people who have been drinking all day long, dressed up as zombies and other things. Some people wore other costumes, and there were some pretty cool things out there too, but the majority of them were that. Performing in front of that crowd was very cool. You know, it was just, it's just something that you can only do once in your life. You know, I doubt I will, for the rest of my life, ever find myself in a professional wrestling ring surrounded by 500 some people at least, dressed up as zombies, cheering as we're in a wrestling match. You know what I mean?
So you might say that's an undead crowd.
Oh, God. All right. I'm going to take a good story and then just do that to it. And then we had an event, our first Halloween event with Resistance Pro. All the wrestlers were dressing up, and it's funny because
The bands do.
oh, you were there and dressed up too. Uh, but it's funny because that particular one, weeks earlier, and I've told this story other places or whatever, but weeks earlier, I just happened to be online and I don't know, I saw something with Sven Gulli on it or whatever, and I was thinking to myself, I've never met Sven Gulli. I was like, someday I'd really love to get to meet Sven Gulli, and I posted that online. And I remember one of the owners of Resistance Pro, Jacques Barron, he wrote something, or he like made like a winky kind of face or something like that. And I didn't think anything of it. And then like literally the next day, the poster for the next show came out, and who's front and center on it but Sven Gulli.
That was
And
weird.
it was the next day, and I had zero idea that they had booked him for the show. I had no idea. I just happened to be sitting there thinking, like, man, someday I really would love to get to meet him. And that was the next day, and I was like, man, I'm going to get to meet Sven Gulli. So that Halloween show, I finally got to meet him and get to talk to him a little bit too, which was really wild. To talk to him as Rich Coes, as himself, and because I not only knew him as Sven Gulli, but when I was a kid, he used to host the Coes Zone in the
Right.
morning and afternoons, with cartoons and stuff like that. And so like he's been a Chicago staple my entire life. So to get to meet him and talk to him was really, really awesome. Now that same show, I actually got to dress up once again as He-Man, which caught a little criticism because I got like the whole He-Man suit. I got the bodysuit and the wig and the whole
You didn't
thing,
really need.
which everyone said you didn't really need it. But I still just don't think it would have looked good. I appreciate it, but I'm still not He-Man physique. So, and it looked funnier, to wear the whole thing.
It was a good.
So, but at that show, Billy Corgan was there, of course, and so I at one point get a picture of me dressed as He-Man with Billy Corgan. And that's just like, that's a photograph I've got that I just never in a million years thought I would ever have.
Now we went, as far as I remember, they had two nights because I went as Piper and
And
Blue
then,
Meanie. So
right.
what
So
were you the
now,
other night?
so the other one,
Excuse me.
so the other one, and this is a good story too, was at the time, Brady Pierce and I were the Resistance Pro Tag Team Champions. And so Brady was kind of like, we had to dress up as something, and I wanted it to be like a duo type thing, and he kind of just left it up to me. He was like, I don't know, whatever you think. So I came up with us being Hans and Franz.
Yeah, I know. That was good.
And so real easy outfit. It's just a sweatsuit and their weight belts, and that's it, you know? So the problem is there was still kind of a generational gap there. Like people were either going to get it or have no idea who we were, And I tried to do a promo at the beginning where we did the whole pump you up thing to kind of tip off what we were and everything. Now, here's what the problem with that one was. I'm standing in the back at the gate, ready to come out at the entranceway and everything, me and Brady. And I'm gonna have to rap when I come out and do our whole thing. And so the music hits. I'm like 3 seconds from going out there. Jake O'Neill is standing next to me, takes a glass of water and throws it right into my crotch. Now, if you know how that sweatsuit material is,
Yes.
it shows water very glaringly. And so it looked like I pissed myself, and he did it right before I walked out. So I'd have zero time to do anything about it. And so knowing that it looked like that, I just went out and did it anyway.
You
and
were a
I guess
soldier.
and I guess people probably thought I did it on purpose or whatever. So so we go out and we do whatever we do. I don't even know if I think we had a match. And we come back, and I find out that Mr. Robert Anthony put him up to it, which made perfect sense.
Oh, there you
So,
go.
yeah, Ego told Jake to throw the water on me. And so if you see any of the photographs from that match, you will notice that it looks like I peed my pants. So that was another fun
Well,
memory.
I got it real quick. It's not Halloween, but you mentioned the difference, like in people understanding who Hans and Franz were.
Yeah,
I was covering the Bliss one time, and I don't know if you remember Psychobabble. They had one guy on there that did the guy by the river, lives in a van by the
yeah,
river, Poland.
yeah,
But he came as that, and he was talking to the girls, and he was doing the shtick. And these are 22, 23-year-old women.
yeah,
They had no idea, like, if this thing went so flat, they had no
yeah.
idea what he was talking. Like, who is this guy? Why is he talking like this? What is it? Because that was probably a good 10 years before that. So these ladies were probably like 10.
If it honestly, they were probably just being born. I mean, like you're talking late 90s.
Yeah.
Like that was late 90s. Farley doing that was like between like 96, 97, that type of time.
Yeah.
So if they're in their 20s, then
It
this was
was just
before
so
they were,
bad.
yeah, this was before they're even born. Um, so, but this year, no, I decided, go with Terrell Davis because last year, I don't know if you remember my costume, but it was easily considered to be the most terrifying that I ever wore when
Who did
I
you go
went.
as?
I went as none other than the man on the beat, Mr. John Robleski, which we'll have to put that picture up as well.
Man, it was a great costume.
It was a great costume. Other than the people just were, people were reporting it on Facebook. It was too terrifying. They just couldn't look
I'm
at
looking
this.
up your Terrell Davis because I thought he had a really good career. I thought it's potentially a Hall of Fame career. He
I
played, he
remember at
played
the time he was a big deal. There was him, and then there was a guy on the Vikings. These were like the two top jerseys we were selling. There was Terrell Davis, and there was some guy on the Vikings at the time. And
Herschel
those were
Walker.
no, there was they were like, but those were like this was like one of the biggest selling ones in the store. So
Well, he
at the
only
time.
played for 7 years or 8 years. He was the Super Bowl MVP. He was most valuable player 1 year. He was two-time NFL Offensive Player of the Year. So he was very good. I think he ended up getting injured. I think, which is what cut his career short. Oh, wait a minute. He was elected into the Hall of Fame. Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer.
Well, there you go. Then I'm a
Yeah.
Hall of
So I
Famer for
mean, for a
Halloween.
guy that he played 7 seasons and really only 4 full seasons, for a guy to play that little and be in the Hall of Fame, he was a beast.
Yeah. So it makes sense that
Take off that jersey, man. You
it's
don't
like I
deserve
said, you put this on and it's
it.
like you can't tell the difference between us. That's all it
Yeah,
takes.
slow white guy versus a speedy black dude. Sure.
I don't know. I don't see color, man.
It's like looking in the
Uh,
mirror.
yeah. Well, so at the beginning of the show, we started off by showing everybody our launch to go out and get a taco salad. I looked up a place online, the Hale Street Cantina in Wheaton. We do have some footage of us at the Hale Street Cantina trying our salads. So at this time, we will share that with you now.
Oh, roll
But
tape.
roll tape.
I should be recording you. You're the expert.
Well, you tell me first what you think here.
You suggest the salsa?
Yeah.
Do I mix first?
So now, I know you like this is carpet. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
It's all divvied up. Now you're gonna just mix it all together now.
No, we must tell people I hate chicken.
Okay. You like it Why can't I say the word? Carmentalized. Whatever. How's the seasoning?
Probably a little light of the seasoning, but I think the salsa might make up for it.
Okay. All right. Now, I know you like this thing all divvied up. I'm not going to try to say the word, but
Compartmentalized.
compartmentalized. Thank you. I'm going to mix all this up. Now, this, in addition to having what I usually ask for, it has beans and rice in there too, which I'm not against. So, but I am going to get this all.
Now, I put the salsa on right away. Are you going to try it without the salsa?
I just put it all in right now.
Oh, okay.
All right, here we go. That's not bad. That's not bad. I gotta say, it's medium on the seasoning.
I would agree.
I would say it's medium, but the salsa does help make up the difference. So we'll see. Let me see a little shell. I like the shell.
I like the shell.
Big shell, crusted, nice and crispy. All right, we'll see. So there you go. We both are, John. What did so you had you had your salad, and I know that you like things compartmentalized. See, I can say the word
No,
now. Well, you do. You've said in the past you like it, so it's all put together in little pieces or whatever. I mean,
no, I like it all mixed.
oh well, then I misunderstood because
Because otherwise, it's some chicken and some corn. No, I like
right
it
now you
mixed.
got to mix it
I
up.
don't care
Yeah,
if it's compartmentalized, really, because I'll mix it myself. But
right.
I do like eating it mixed.
Okay. So, what were your thoughts on this?
I really enjoyed it. I had chicken. Did I have chicken? It was chicken, right?
You
Not
had
turkey.
chicken, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I had
chicken.
chicken. Really good. My only downside was the shell was a little flaky, but as we've discussed in the past, you kind of have to make it that way. I like a really sturdy shell where you could break it off and scoop out. This is a little tough.
It was just shy of that, yeah. And
But I mean, if that's my only complaint, there was plenty of ingredients. There was plenty of meat, plenty of cheese. They had the beans in there, which is good. It
they
was
had
a little
beans,
light.
they had beans and rice, and to your point, I think everything was very well balanced as far as the portions of all of these things.
It could use a little more spice, but they also gave a little cup of
Right.
not salsa, sauce, I guess.
Yeah, it was kind of like like a taco sauce or something like that. But yeah, no, that did add the extra heat that like that we would want. I know people that it probably would have been just fine the way it was, but I think we like it just a little
Yeah,
little bit of kick in it.
you probably like a little more than I do. For a Mexican place, it they didn't serve Coke. Mexican places usually serve Coke.
Yeah, but again, this was kind of a borderline American Mexican type of joint. I mean, it was
Aren't
a
they
bar,
all?
it was a bar. Yeah, but this was like a bar
I
that
think
was
Chili's
selling.
isn't.
This is a bar that's selling Americanized versions of Mexican food. And that's
Had a
why
Mexican name.
I thought this would be the place to try and check out their taco
Yeah,
salad
you have an
because
interesting theory on that.
yeah, well, I mean, we've talked about it, but I mean, I think that the more authentic the Mexican restaurant is, I mean, it'll be great for everything else on the menu, but not a taco salad. It's not a it's an Americanized thing, so I understand now, and I don't expect them to have what I'm looking for, but I realize this is something I need to look at exactly this type of place. So, with all that being said, comparing this to the previous taco salads that we have sampled thus far, I have to say that, and I say this in no uncertain terms, uh, I am ranking this number one. I am putting this at the top of the ladder now. This is going to be the Hale Street Cantina in Wheaton. Is got the best taco salad I know of. Uh, the Glen Oak and Glen Ellen is number two behind it. Uh, but number one, now this does not stop the search by any means. The bar has just simply been raised. But
Well, but this also begs the question, do we have to go back to the other place to give it another chance?
I don't think we have to, but I mean, I'm never going to say no to going to have a taco salad. It's a good enough one to go have again. I've
Yeah, I'm
had
just
it.
trying to get it going because then if we go there, you like it more. Then it's like I'm not sure that we have to go back to Hacienda.
See,
This
the thing is I've had that one like several times, so I feel pretty definitive in that. I've had the Glen Oaks taco
okay.
salad at least four times, so I mean, like I feel pretty confident in what I think of it.
But how does it rank with the one that closed that used to be your go-to place in Glen Ellen?
See, that's the thing. The problem is the further you get away from it, because I haven't actually been able to have one from there in
Well,
like 3 years. Now, from my recollection of it and everything, as that was always my favorite taco salad. Uh, if I had to put these up against each other, I will say it would be very close. It's just they're almost kind of different because they're using extra ingredients that weren't in what I had at
that's true.
the at
You
the.
kind of had it
It was a
uh,
little the other
personalized.
the other place was called Northside in Glen Ellen, and it was that was like they just had everything. I mean, I would still give it to them because their shell was perfect. Their shell was
Yeah.
perfect. Their meat was perfect. All of that. Now, when you add more ingredients to it, then you are adding more moisture to it, which can affect the shell. So, then it kind of becomes like,
Well, but there's two different components though. There's you have more ingredients, so it might make the bottom of the shell soggy, but there's still whether the shell is flaky or more sturdier. You know what I mean? That's like
yeah.
like this shell could be sturdier, and then it just depends on how much liquid is going to affect the bottom of it.
Yeah, the one thing I would think that Northside would have over the other place is the shell because they had the shell that you could
It
just
did.
break off a piece and dig in with it and everything. So that's where this falls short at the Hale Street Cantina. But um, you know, I got to go with the current living entities, and so for now, I give them number one. We should let them know.
Well, and we are open. If there's other places out there that think they have a better taco salad,
Yeah, please let us
we're
know. We're
we're
happy to
not even
come.
asking for freebies, although we certainly would take them.
Yeah,
But we're willing to if you're willing to put up your salad, we're willing to buy it.
yeah. So price point on these, we were like $17 a piece. Now, that's pricey, but there's two things. One is just inflation right now. You
Yeah.
can't go you can't get a burger for it's like
Right.
$15. So I mean, it just is what it is. But if I'm getting quality, I don't care. I'm fine with it.
Oh, we got
I'm
quality
okay.
and hard. It was big.
It was big, and I'll say something else. That thing, we between us ordering it and it hitting the table must have been
Wow.
like 3 minutes. I
Good
mean,
point.
it was like they must have like known when we walked in the door.
Good
Those guys are getting taco salad. He's going to want chicken. He's going to want
point.
beef. I mean, like it was, we ordered it and it was before I could even, unfold my napkin. It was like, oh, there you go. And it was cooked and it was tasted great, big size. I finished mine. I ate the whole thing. I
I did
believe,
not eat the whole shell, but I ate everything inside and a good
I,
portion of the shell.
I, I believe in eating the whole thing. I think that's
I
part of
just
the
didn't
pro.
like the shell enough. If it was hardier, I would have.
Yeah.
That's the
The,
only, if I took a point, not a point, but if I took any part of a point, percentage
yeah,
of a point off. But
yeah,
I do agree with you. It's still the best we've had.
yeah. So there it is. So that's exciting news. That we've actually raised the bar. We found something good. I will go back. I will have it again. And I've told other people because I've got people who like when they'll ask about like where's the good one and
Yep.
when now and then they want to go try it. So now I'm going to be sending some people there and getting their opinions too. So if you're in the area and you want to try out a good taco salad, check out the Hale Street Cantina in Wheaton and let us know what you think. So. With that, though, uh, happy Halloween to you, my friend.
Even though this will be a little later, but yes, happy Halloween to you as well.
It'll release later, but today's Halloween, and I hope that you enjoy your day.
Don't
Okay,
get spooked.
is that okay? Is that all right?
Yeah, no,
Just
from you, I'm shocked.
wish you well. It's
I
okay.
thought there'd be some insult, but hey,
Well, I guess when you get as many as you do, it's just kind of a knee-jerk defense reaction there.
it
So,
must be the Terrell Davis jersey. He's actually,
but,
because I think he was also like Citizen of the Year or something for the NFL.
yeah, see, I'm telling you, like these all line up perfectly. It's like all I have to do is throw on the jersey, and it's like it's like, am I looking at Tommy else or am I looking at Terrell Davis? I don't know. I don't know. You tell me. So with that, as always, I of course have been who else but Terrell Davis, and with me is the man on the beat from johngysbeat.com, Mr. Jonathan Frankenstein Robleski.